Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are from Group 1. Today we want to explain about the US and the Middle East relations under George Bush administrations. And today I'm not alone, I'm with my friends, Ahsina Nafisa Sani, Fikri Yuda Pangestu, and myself, Divana Alani. Okay, the first chapter of our presentations, which is introductions, will be explained by Ahsina Nafisa Sani. To Ahsina Nafisa Sani, time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the moderators. Here I'm Asina. I'm gonna explaining about the introduction. So the leadership of George W. Bush, whose policies rigged a military violence or hard power, which began on September 11, 2001, hijacked planes, hit valuable buildings, belongs to United States. One of the largest buildings in downtown United States, namely two planes crashed into the World Trade Center or WTC, which is considered as a symbol of the capitalization of the United States, and one plane crashed into the Pentagon building, which is thought to be the safest building in the world. So it turned out that terror is known given was carried out by the terrorist group from the Middle East led by Osama bin Laden, who named Al Qaeda, and it alleged the president of Iraq took part in the brains of the plane crashing into the building. But the problem with the Middle East not end there. Even though the leader of anti-American movement in the Middle East has been hanged, now young future leaders are born like Ahmadinejad, the Iraq president who also strongly opposed US policies in the Middle East even throughout the world. The US relationship with the Middle East is likely continue to be full of conflict because as long as the Arabic Israel issue, now more commonly referred to as Palestine and Israel, is not over, the US involvement in the security issue in the Middle East will not end. So the administration of President George W. Bush was deeply involved in the Middle East, but its effort did not advance US international security. The administration failed because it drew too heavy on military force and too little on diplomacy. So the case of Bush administration made clear that material power does not automatically translate into international influence. Thank you. Back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you, Ahsina, for the explanations. Next will be explained by Fikri Yuda. To Fikri Yuda Pangestu, time is yours.
All right, thank you so much for my friends, Diva Nazif Alani, for such an opportunity that is given to me to conveying my part, which is the discussions part. All right, everyone. Now we go to the explanations of discussions, of which this goes to the case study of our discussions today. So the topic will be about how was Bush administration soured Middle East. Every one of us might have wondered, how did Bush conduct or perform his administrations under his presidency toward the Middle East regions? We go to the first point. As it says on the PowerPoint slide, in March 2003, Bush announced that United States coalition's force is ready. They have been entered the early stage to disarm Iraq as to eliminate Saddam and liberate its people. So the whole idea that plays or that is contained in the first point is that there's an accusations over the president of Iraq, known as the dictator president of Iraq, Saddam Hussein, that he is possessing such a massive killing weapon, which is the nuclear weapon. And another accusations that is accused on him is that he has an affiliations with the terrorism movement, Al Qaeda. So that's why, as it's written in the White House website, that President George Walker Bush wanted to eliminate Saddam Hussein, and with an excuse that he wants to liberate Iraqi people from his dictatorships and promoting democracy. Now we go to the second point of these discussions. This foreign policy is aimed at importing democracy to Iraq and Middle East region, beside as retaliations acts. Do you know what is interesting things pertaining to the Bush Act toward Middle East? Is that uh, besides of the popular opinion of why Bush conducting his administrations toward Middle East regions, is that he wants to bring democracy over there and he wants to dethrone Saddam Hussein over his positions. Is that the Iraq operations in 2003 also a retaliation form after what have been happened or occurred in America, which is popularly known as 9/11 tragedy. And it directly happened at the center, at the heart of United States homeland. So that's why the three key decisions maker at the time, which is first the presidents, Mr. George Walker Bush, and the vice president, the vice presidents, and then uh, defense security officials believe that um the operations that they have been executed in Afghanistan is not sufficient to call retaliations, to uh, take a revenge on what has happened in America at the time, which is the strike over the World Trade Center building and Pentagon building. Now we go to the third point of these discussions. Even though Bush attempted to perform so, yet it was totally flung and criticized by a lot of analysts. Another interesting fact in here is that although Bush had um, strong plan and strong intentions to import democracy over the Middle East regions, but what comes in the end is that he is failed to do so. So all the plan of propagating democracy in the Middle East and make Middle East more democratic, uh, everything are forward. And it is also criticized by a lot of analysts that some objectives that he tried to achieve, that he tried, uh, that he tried to chase, is all are flung. So, according to one of analysts here, uh, in order to fulfilling his foreign policy objective, Bush known as involving much in the Middle East regions, but in some particular targets such non-conventional proliferations and democratic campaign and also counterterrorism, it is a flung. It's such a failure and doesn't truly advance the United States national security. It even get more worsened that many countries were under attack, although there were no direct strike over United States after the 9/11 tragedy. And even what have been planned by United States or by President Bush, especially that Middle East regions will be more democratic. In fact, it contrary to what have been planned that Middle East were becoming less democratic. Some of the largest forces like Egypt and Saudi Arabia are becoming less democratic. So um, the next is about what is criticized by the analysts. What led Bush foreign policy to such failure? That democratizing Iraq in the military way or using the military instrument is way too risky, much spending or expensive, and it is not replicable. So, what are those things that Bush have to, the way that Bush was supposed to conduct his administration toward Middle East is that he should take the diplomatic way more than the military steps. So this one of several factor or a variable that the analysts emphasize why Bush is failed to conduct his administrations toward Middle East. All right, thank you so much for your attention, guys, and I think I will give it back to the moderator. And again, uh, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you, Fikri, for the explanations. Okay, guys, last but not least, it's my turn. I want to conclude our group presentations. I have three main points. The first point is uh, George Boss is implementing a different uh, strategy, which is geopolitical strategy that is quite different from his predecessor, Bill Clinton, that used the geoeconomic strategy because George Bush think that geoeconomic strategy is weaker than the geopolitical strategy. And the second point is George Bush tried to implementing this geopolitical strategy toward the Middle East, uh, and they try to spread the democracies to toward the Middle East, and they start to go to Afghanistan, Iraq, and so on. But since the 9/11 tragedy, there's America declare war on terror, which is quite popular from the George Bush administrations. And after the 9/11 tragedy, America start to invade to Iraq. They dethrone Saddam Hussein from his presidential. Okay. And the third point is according to some analysts, that George Bush is failed to fulfill his foreign policy, his strategy, because he wanted to spread the democracy, but he didn't use the democratic way, the diplomatic way. He used hard power. He used military to invade another country in the Middle East. So the country in the Middle East didn't get better, but it's even getting worse. Okay, maybe that's all I can explain. That's all from us. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.